Hello, this is Leocolt from Hitpost Reviews. I'll be showing today my PSP collection. Unlike the last time when I showed my PS3 collection, this is not a 300 and something collection, it's much smaller, so I'll try to make it just one video. In any case, it's been 12 years since the PSP came out, so I think it's the time to show what I gathered throughout these years. Let's start with Ace Combat X, Skies of Deception. This is obviously a flight game from the Ace Combat series. It's a very good one. If you like flight games, this is actually a very good one. Alien Syndrome from Sega. This is some sort of reboot or remake from a very old arcade game by Sega. Unlike Ace Combat, this is not so great. It's not terrible, but not that great. Armored Core, Formula Front, Extreme Battle. This is also not such a great game. The Armored Core series is one I like, but this game in particular, it's not as deep as other Armored Core games and not as fun either. Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. This is a game using a lot of assets from the original Assassin's Creed game. The original Assassin's Creed game, it's not my favorite in the series, but this one in particular isn't any better. The PSP limitations kinda hinder this game. It's not a terrible game, but it's just okay, in my opinion. Blast Blue Calamity Trigger. This is a 2D fighting game from Arc System Works. It's a very good game, very fast-paced. I'm not the biggest expert on fighting games or anything, but I like this game a lot. Brave Story New Traveler. This game has the cover. This is an American import. I don't think this was ever released in my country, so I had to import this from America. It's a great RPG, very, very good. Breath of Fire 3. This is a very classic JRPG. The art style from the cover is gorgeous, I think. Burnout Legends. This is some sort of best of kind of game from the Burnout series. It's as good as a Burnout game can be, and on the go. Call of Duty Roads to Victory. The PSP isn't the best platform to play FPS games because it doesn't really have two analog sticks you can play with. So be wary of that when you're trying to play FPS games on the system. It's not a bad game, but you'd better be playing Call of Duty games from PS2 or PS3 rather than this. Capcom Classics Collection Reloaded. This is obviously a classic collection from Capcom. The games here included in here are very good, but I wish there was more variety. As you can see, there's many are the same. 1943, there's two versions, 1943, there's various versions of Street Fighter 2. They're good games, but I wish there was more variety. Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles. This is a great Castlevania, another game with a great cover art. This also included Dracula X Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, but you have to unlock those before you can play them. Next game is Silicon Carnage. In this case, this is another game that's been made reusing assets from a bigger PS2 game. In this case, this was a game called Total Overdose, but here they scrapped the open world part of the game and it's a more focused third-person action game. Secret Agent Clank, spin-off game on the Ratchet & Clank series. This was pretty fun. Pretty funny as well. Colin McRae Rally 2005 Plus. This game I got with the PSP on day one, and it's surprising how good they got the rally game on their first try, because this is one of the best racing games on the system, and it was a launch title here in Europe. Darkstalkers Chronicle, the Chaos Tower. This is a 2D fighting game. If you don't know the Darkstalkers series, it's very good, very interesting characters. Daxter, another spin-off game, in this case from the Jak and Daxter series. This is one of the best games on the system, in my opinion. It's a great game. Deadhead Fred, this is a third-person action adventure kind of game. In this game you are Fred and you can switch heads. It's it's just what it is. It's very funny, and I guess not many people know about this game, and it's a pretty interesting game on the PSP. Death Junior, this is some sort of action platformer, very action focused, I'd say. This was very original and very charming, I guess. It's also pretty frustrating at times with the checkpoints. Disgaea, Afternoon of Darkness. This is the first game in the series, in the Disgaea series, but it's a re-release of some sorts. I love the series. They're great tactical RPGs. Driver 76, in this case, another game that uses lots of assets from a PS2 game, but stripping things. In this case, this was Driver Parallel Lines. They got rid of the modern era stuff, and it's just set in the past. Not a great game, but I like the Driver series, and the driving was fine, which is the most important. Okay, the next pile starts with the Final Fantasy series. Here we have Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy Dissidia, and Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions. It's pretty funny because the three games are very different from each other. Crisis Core is an action RPG. This is a 3D. Dissidia is a 3D fighting game. And Final Fantasy Tactics is a tactical RPG. But even though the three are very different, the three are great. Square Enix treated the PSP very well, in my opinion. Eric Stand Extra. This is some sort of shoot 'em up, but it plays more like a puzzle game actually. You have to chain explosions and such. Not my cup of tea, but it was original. The next one is Fat Princess, Fistful of Cake. This is not as great as the PS3 game, but it's very fun on the go. The online is pretty lacking though, but if you like playing with against the AI, this is a pretty fun game. Flat Out Head On. This is an arcade racing game. If you liked Flat Out 2 on the PS2, this is pretty much almost the same game. The frame rate could be better, but it's still a very, very fun game. Gangs of London. This is a dumbed down The Getaway. Well, it's unfair to say that, but this reuses the London city from The Getaway and makes a game out of it. It's different, it's more about you pick a gang and you have to make it flourish, some sort of You pick a gang and you have to make it win money and such and defeat the other gangs. Ghost Recon Predator. I picked this one up just because when I saw it at the store, I never even heard about it. So that caught my attention. But when I played it, I wish I didn't, because it's a terrible game. Shooters aren't the best on PSP, but this one in particular, it's especially bad. Ghost Rider, this is a game that's supposed to be terrible, but I actually enjoy it. It's just a God of War clone, nothing more than that. It's pretty repetitive, but it's still fun, I think. Now we have the real deal with God of War, Ghost of Sparta. I've also played the God of War Chains of Olympus, but that one I have digitally and also remastered on the PS3. This game here is amazing. It doesn't feel like a dumbed down version of God of War because it's on a portable. No. This is like the real deal. It's one of the best God of War games there are, in my opinion, actually. Grand Knight's History. This is a Japan import. You better find a guide on the internet or know Japanese to play this, but it's a great RPG. It has an amazing art style. It's made by Vanillaware. Now the GTA series with Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars and Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. Vice City Stories feels like a PS2 game, which is great. It's in 3D and everything. The other two, but it plays it from a top-down perspective, like the older Grand Theft Auto games. I prefer Vice City Stories. Gran Turismo, this is obviously a racing game. The physics are very nice, but it doesn't quite feel like a Gran Turismo game. They try to make something more suitable for a portable. It has a lot of cars and a lot of tracks, but it doesn't... The Gran Turismo mode doesn't quite play like it should. Gungnir, a tactical RPG, another Japanese import. This one came out in America, but it's hella expensive. It's a great game though. Gun Showdown, this is a third-person shooter set in the West. It was quite fun. Like I said, shooters on PSP don't have the best controls, but if you get used to that, this one is pretty good. Goromin, some sort of adventure game. It's similar to, I guess, the Legend of Zelda series, the 3D ones. Very charming, very interesting. It's a good game for the PSP. Infected. This is a third-person shooter. It's very mindless. It just shoots zombies over and over again. There's a zombie Santa there. It's mindless, like I said. It's just shoot, but it's quite fun. And Jak and Daxter: The Last Frontier. Not the best Jak and Daxter game, but it was fun. The next pile has Killzone Liberation. In this case, this doesn't play like a regular Killzone game. It's played from the top-down perspective. It was still very fun. The Killzone series has some very interesting lore and technology. It's a great world to play in. Kingdom Hearts: Birth by Sleep. Again, like with the Final Fantasy series, Square Enix brought this series to the PSP, and they went with full force because All their games are great, this one included. This feels like a proper Kingdom Hearts game, because it is. Great graphics, great story, great game. Loco Roco 2, okay. Very original game, Loco Roco 2. This very charming, great soundtrack. It's very, it's a very funny game. You'll get the songs stuck in your head for forever. Lord of Arcana. This comes from the Slayer edition. The case is red and everything. It's very cool. The game itself, though, it's some sort of Monster Hunter kind of game, but I didn't enjoy the combat very much. It wasn't that good. Match Modified Air Combat Heroes. The cover is very cool because it has this metal thing going on. This is actually, you may think it's a flight game. You shoot down other planes, and well, you do that. But this is more like a racing game. It plays very similar to Mario Kart. It's like a Mario Kart, but with planes. It's very fun, though. It lacks some content, more planes and more tracks, but the core gameplay is very fun. Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. This is a 3D fighting game with Marvel characters and some that I don't know if they're just fake or I just don't know them. I'm not so much into comics, but well, the game itself is very fun. The camera is kinda tricky, but it's a very fun game. Medal of Honor Heroes 2. This is another FPS on the PSP. Again, the controls aren't that great, but the graphics are very nice for the PSP. I'll give them that. Medieval Resurrection. This is the first medieval game from the PS1, but on PSP. I think it has some added levels and features, but it's been a while since I played the original, and it's been a while since I played this. It's a very fun game if you like the medieval series and you want to play it on the go. Here it is. Here we have Sega Mega Drive Collection. This is another classic collection of games. Has a lot of games, very well ported or emulated. I wish this had Streets of Rage though. That's Streets of Rage 2 in particular. But it has Virtua Fighter. Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. Another game that could have made with a better camera, but it is a proper Metal Gear game in my opinion. It has a nice story and the stealth is very well done. I wish you could play it with 2 sticks though. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. I also have LA Remix, but that one I have it digitally. I prefer that one, but this one isn't bad either. It's just that the load times are a little too long. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. The PSP got a bunch of Monster Hunter games, and from the ones we got in the West, this is the best one I think. The others I sold. I also had Monster Hunter Freedom 1 and 2, and those I sold. I just kept this just so I could fit them in my house. It's a great game though. All of them. Motorstorm Arctic Edge, another great racing game on the PSP. Amazing graphics. This was later ported to PS2. If you can play this, play that. I love the Motorstorm series. This one in particular isn't my favorite or anything, but it's still a great game. Very fun. Need for Speed Underground Rivals. I also used to have other different Need for Speed games, but I just kept this because I don't really enjoy that much any of them. They're pretty dumbed down versions from the PS2 version, from the PS2 counterparts. Underground Rivals was the one that I enjoyed the most, but Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. Now this is one game that I really like. Very fun, drifting, racing Ferraris, very fast. It's a great arcade game. Parapon 2. This is some sort of mix between rhythm game and strategy game, and it's very original, very nice and unique art style, deeper than you might think, and well, it's very recommended. I also have Parapon 3, but digitally. Phantasy Star Portable 2. This is a Japanese RPG, 3D, nice graphics, a little repetitive, not great, but pretty good. And Prince of Persia Revelations, which is a port from the PS2 game, the third Prince of Persia game from PS2. This is a port, straight up port. I don't think if they added anything. Not the greatest game on the Prince of Persia series, and this in particular, it's not the greatest port either. The next pile starts with Rainbow Six Vegas, another game from Ubisoft, and another okay at best game. If you want to play this game, you better play the home console versions of the PC version. This game isn't that great on PSP. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. This is a very good Ratchet & Clank game in my opinion. Very fun. Recommended. Rengoku 2. The Stairway to Heaven. This is a very addictive game, but it's also kinda repetitive. It's very fun to get new parts and make your character more powerful, but the combat is very samey. Resistance Retribution, one of the best shooters on the PSP. 3D shooters, I mean. Great cover art, I think, with the Eiffel Tower. The auto aim is pretty intrusive though. Ridge Racer 2, another... Whoop. Ridge Racer 2. This is another arcade racing game. Plenty of content. It controls also very well. Much better than the Ridge Racer we got on Vita. Yet another racing game, Sega Rally, also called Sega Rally Revo outside of Europe. I like this game a lot. It's not classic rallying, it's because there's many cars on a circuit, but it's very fun, arcadey racing game. Shinobido, Tales of the Ninja. I think it's called that in in English. Shinobido, it's very similar to the Tenchu series. In fact, this one plays more like the original Tenchu games than the Tenchu on PSP. Very fun, if you like that kind of gameplay. Sid Meier Pirates. I also played this game on PC, which is better there, but it's very fun on the go. It's some sort of an adventure game. You play the life of a pirate, of this guy over there. You have to get boats and commerce. It has naval battles as well. Silent Hill Origins. Very good Silent Hill game. Not the best in the series, obviously, but it was pretty good. A little short though. SOCOM comes with SOCOM US Navy SEALs, Fireteam Bravo, and also Fireteam Bravo 2. These are also great third-person shooters. These are very good third-person shooters, but it will still be better if you could play with 2 sticks. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny. This is a 3D fighting game. It's a very famous franchise, the Soul Calibur series. As you can see, this one includes Kratos in the roster. Very fun game. Doesn't have as many modes as other Soul Calibur games, but gameplay wise it's very solid. Star Soldier, this is a shoot 'em up. To play this game you have to hold the PSP sideways, because that's just how the game, like as you can see in the picture behind. Very fun game, very good shoot 'em up. It's a Japanese import. Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron is a very fun third-person shooter. It was actually pretty fun to play. I was surprised by. I thought this game maybe could suck, but no. It's the Battlefront series on PSP was pretty good. Star Wars Lethal Alliance. This one was more of a linear game. It has a story and such. It's a different kind of game. It has platforming and puzzles. It was very different, and it wasn't better. And here we have a favorite of mine, Pursuit Force and Pursuit Force String Justice. This is a very interesting franchise for the PSP. I wish this would return because it was very fun. As you can see from the cover, you can see the main character jumping from vehicles, and that's what you actually do in the game. You're supposed to jump between vehicles and shoot the people. It's very over the top, obviously, kinda silly, but it's also loads of fun. The next pile starts with the Siphon Filter series with Siphon Filter Dark Mirror and Logan's Shadow. I never can remember which is the first to come on PSP. Either way, this was very fun third-person shooters with stealth elements and such. The graphics on these games are really great. They really try to push the PSP limits. Very fun games, very good. Tales of the World, Radiant Mythology. This is some sort of universe mashup of Tales games. It plays very similar to other Tales games, but it includes characters from different iterations. It was very fun. I like it a lot. Another game that I like a lot, Tekken Dark Resurrection. This is some sort of updated Tekken 5. I think, yes, Tekken 5. It was a great game on PS2, and then this PSP version came out, and it was even better. Probably my favorite fighting game on the system. Tenchu Time of the Assassins. I already mentioned this game back when Shinobito. Like I said, this one doesn't feel as much as Tenchu as they used to. They added some stuff that I don't really dig, but I'm a huge Tenchu fan, so I had to have it, and here it is. Toga Race Driver, another Codemasters games from the early days of PSP. It's more of a simulation game like Gran Turismo. Very nice game. Like you can see from the cover, lots of different racing categories. Talk about. This is some sort of puzzle platformer. Very cute. Very charming. It gets a little repetitive though, but I'd still recommend it. Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix. This is a very fun Tony Hawk's game. Graphics are also pretty nice. It plays like the PS2 ones used to play. Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. This is the classic game from Capcom, but updated with some gameplay tweaks, and the graphics are 3D. It's supposed to make it easier, and it's easier than the original, but it's still a pretty challenging game. Undead Knights. This is some sort of Musou game, but not quite. The gimmick here is that you can turn your enemies into zombies that will fight alongside you. It's pretty fun. Valkyrie Chronicles 2. And also Valkyrie Chronicles 3. It was a very weird move for Sega to make this PS3 exclusive to PSP. But well, the games themselves were still very fun. The third one didn't come out here in the West, so it's a Japanese import. But well, if you played the other two, you can figure things out. Great games. Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, another Square Enix RPG, and again another great game from Square Enix. They really nailed the games for PSP. This is a great classic style Japanese RPG. It was very good. Warriors Orochi 2. Another this one in particular, it is a Warriors game, a Musou game. If you like those, this is probably the best you can get on PSP. It was very fun. Wild Arms XF. This doesn't play like the original Wild Arms, but I still liked it quite a bit. It's a Japanese RPG, obviously. Wipeout Pure. Here we have another arcade racing game. The Wipeout series, it's very unique in how the vehicles control. Nailed it down for this game, and also for Pulse, which I also have, but digitally. It's a great game. Pulse is even better, but it's very fun. One of the best racing games on the system, which is saying a lot. Cyanide Resurrection. I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced like that. Cyanide. This is a shoot 'em up, 3D shoot 'em up. Well, it's a very weird shoot 'em up, I'd say that, because you can turn your ship, but the backgrounds are FMB. It's a very weird game. It has some sort of Outrun-like progression, as you can choose to go to easy roads or hard roads. It's a very weird game. Not especially great, but it's quite unique, I'll give it that. And finally, the last game from the collection is Ys 7. Great game, great action RPG. The Ys games are very fun, very fast-paced. They're more action-based. They're simple, but they're very fun. And this is it. This was my collection. I hope you liked it. I'd say to recommend me games, but I don't collect for these anymore. It's more I usually get rid of them now because of space constraints, but the PSP was a great system. Tune up for gameplay videos and reviews and everything, and have a good day.